Most people don't fail because they lack talent. Most people don't stay broke because of where they were born. Most people stay broke for one reason: because they've accepted the lie that they're supposed to. They were told quietly, persistently, that the dream wasn't meant for them. That security is better than freedom, that survival is success, that playing it safe is what smart people do. And they believed it. So they built a life around fear, not desire, around limitations, not possibilities. They obeyed the invisible script handed down by broken minds, and then wondered why they stayed broke themselves. Let's be clear, broke is not just a financial condition, it is a mindset. It is the daily decision to live beneath your potential. It is poverty in ambition, in vision, in courage. You were not born to be average. You were not born to shrink. You were born to expand, to create, to conquer, to rise. But you were handed a script. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe job. Don't take risks, retire quietly, die slowly. And you said yes to that. That's why most people stay broke. Because they sold their imagination for approval. They traded their hunger for comfort. And in doing so, they forfeited the one gift that separates the successful from the forgotten: the power to choose a different path. Let's talk about mindset. Every empire ever built, every fortune ever amassed, every legend ever carved into the history books started in the same place: a thought, not a miracle, not luck, not a secret handshake in some backroom club. A thought, a decision, a refusal to accept reality as it is. Henry Ford was told he couldn't mass-produce cars. He said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Carnegie was a poor Scottish immigrant who forged an empire in steel. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Lincoln failed in business, failed in politics, lost elections, and still carved a legacy. They didn't have perfect conditions. They had mental clarity. They had the audacity to believe when nothing around them validated it. Most people stay broke because they wait for external permission to think big. They wait to feel ready. But greatness doesn't visit those who wait. It rewards those who act, those who decide. The mind is a battlefield, and most people lose the war before they even pick up a sword. They tell themselves, "I'm not that kind of person," or "it's too late for me." And that becomes prophecy. Because your brain will fight to prove you right, even if it destroys you in the process. You want to stop being broke? Change what you believe you deserve. Challenge every thought that keeps you small. Because the moment you accept poverty in your mind, you will see it reflected in your life. Now let's talk about clarity. Most people don't rise because they don't know what the hell they want. They drift. They dabble. They follow trends. They copy others, and then wonder why life feels meaningless. You cannot hit a target you haven't defined. You cannot build a legacy on vague intentions. Clarity is the starting line of wealth. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about wealth of impact, wealth of time, wealth of self-ownership. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for everything. If you don't know where you're going, someone else will decide for you, and they will never choose your greatness over their convenience. What do you want? That's not a casual question. That's the knife that carves your path. Most people stay broke because they never dare to answer it honestly. They settle. They say, "I just want to be comfortable," But comfort is the slowest form of death. It seduces you, numbs you, and buries your dreams in a coffin lined with soft pillows. You want to escape the gravity of average? Get radical about your vision. Describe it in detail. Feel it, breathe it, name it, own it. Then burn the ships. You think the world rewards the most talented? No, the world rewards the most certain. Next comes purpose, the fire underneath it all. Without purpose, wealth becomes hollow. Without purpose, success feels accidental. Without purpose, you will find a way to sabotage everything you build because deep down, you don't believe it matters. Andrew Carnegie didn't just want to get rich. He wanted to elevate mankind through steel and philanthropy. Thomas Edison wasn't just tinkering with light bulbs. He was fighting to bring illumination to the world. They weren't chasing checks, they were chasing change. Purpose gives you stamina when the results don't show. It gives you fire when the world is cold. It gives you the why when the how hasn't shown up yet. Most people stay broke because their only reason is survival. And survival is a weak motivator. It breeds desperation, not excellence. If your only goal is to pay bills and get by, guess what? You'll always be just getting by. But if your goal is to break generational chains, to build something your grandchildren will thank you for, to die empty because you gave everything you had, now that is power. Purpose turns average people into warriors, into legends, into architects of destiny. Then comes discipline, the bridge between dreams and results. Everybody wants the outcome. Very few are willing to pay the price. Discipline is the price. And that's why most people stay broke. Because when it's time to show up, they make excuses. When it's time to sacrifice, they seek comfort. When it's time to delay gratification, they fold. And life doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. Discipline is choosing your future over your feelings. It is saying no when everything in you screams yes. It is waking up early when your body begs for 5 more minutes. It is doing the work, especially when no one is watching. You think Edison invented the light bulb in one try? Try 10,000 failed attempts. You think Jordan became great because of talent alone? Watch his workouts. Look at his obsession. You want to know the secret? Greatness is boring. It's repetition. It's routine. It's doing the thing over and over until you can't get it wrong. But most people stay broke because they chase dopamine over discipline. They seek stimulation, not transformation. And so they scroll, binge, distract, never realizing the enemy is not outside them. It's the voice inside that says, "We can do it tomorrow." And then comes action, relentless, unapologetic action. Not thinking, not planning, not endlessly strategizing behind closed doors, but doing. Most people stay broke because they wait. They wait for certainty. They wait for approval. They wait for the economy to get better, for their confidence to catch up, for the stars to align. But the truth is, you're not waiting on life. Life is waiting on you. Success doesn't come to those who are merely interested. It comes to those who are obsessed. Those who move, even when it's imperfect. Those who fall and get back up without fanfare. Those who execute while others hesitate. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. You will never feel ready. No one does. The people you admire didn't begin because they were fearless. They began because they couldn't bear the thought of dying with their potential locked inside them. They moved forward while afraid. They launched while insecure. They acted while they were still full of doubt. And because of that, they changed their lives. Action creates clarity. Action creates momentum. Action turns chaos into order and fear into confidence. Most people stay broke because they want guarantees before they leap. But real wealth is built by those who leap first and then build wings on the way down. But here's what separates the wealthy from the broke, even after all that. It's not just action, it's gratitude. The most misunderstood power in all of personal growth. Gratitude is not about passively being thankful. It is a frequency, a weapon, a magnet. Gratitude shifts you from lack into abundance. It shifts you from reaction into creation. Because when you are grateful, truly, deeply, presently grateful, you see differently. The broke mindset says, I'll be thankful when I have more. The wealthy mindset says, I have more because I am thankful. Gratitude tunes your mind to opportunities others miss. It rewires your perception. You stop obsessing over what's missing and start multiplying what's already in your hands. Walt Disney built Disneyland while broke, but grateful. Oprah Winfrey transformed trauma into global impact because she saw pain as preparation. Most people stay broke because they don't value what they have. And when you don't value it, you don't grow it. You complain about the seed instead of planting it. You curse the process instead of trusting it. But gratitude? Gratitude takes the smallest seed and says, this can become a forest. And when the storm hits, and it will, that's where resilience comes in. The capacity to bend without breaking, to fall without fading, to suffer without surrendering. Most people stay broke because the first failure knocks them out cold. One setback and they say, maybe it's not meant to be. One rejection and they crawl back into comfort. They confuse defeat with destiny. But hear me, the wealthiest people you know were once buried, not struggling, buried. And they use the dirt not as a grave, but as soil. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It's the decision that pain will not be your prison. It is rising again, every single time life tries to kill your momentum. Thomas Edison? 10,000 failures. Colonel Sanders? Rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his chicken. Stephen King? 30 rejections before anyone would touch his first novel. Resilience is your insurance policy against poverty. Because no matter what you build, if you can't get back up, it will never last. Broke people quit. Rich minds adapt. That brings us to learning. And this is where most people get stuck in pride. They believe they know enough. They believe experience alone is wisdom. They believe a diploma means they've graduated from growth. But the minute you stop learning, you start dying. The world you live in today is not the world of yesterday. And it won't be the world of tomorrow. You want to build wealth? Become a student forever. Read, ask, listen, observe, adapt. Most people stay broke because their ego is too loud for their future to speak. They avoid mentorship. They avoid correction. They surround themselves with people who validate their mediocrity instead of those who challenge their evolution. Look at the most successful people on earth. They read more. They invest more in coaches, books, courses, insight. They do not see learning as a cost. They see it as compound interest on their potential. You want to rise, fall in love with learning. Because wealth is not just built by what you do, it's multiplied by what you understand. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must become adaptable. Because the world doesn't care how smart you are. It doesn't care how hard you work. It only rewards those who adjust. Adaptability is the difference between a dying business and a thriving empire. Between a forgotten talent and an iconic brand. Between almost made it and changed the world. Most people stay broke because they cling to the familiar. They do what worked 5 years ago and wonder why it doesn't work today. They fear change, but change is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Every market shifts. Every culture evolves. Every technology reinvents itself. You must be flexible in your methods but firm in your mission. Your path may change, but your purpose must remain steel. If your identity is wrapped in how things used to be, you will never create what could be. And finally, we arrive at the edge, the final wall. The last frontier that keeps most people trapped in lack when they were born for abundance. It's not knowledge. It's not skill. It's not luck. It's belief. You believe, you become. Most people stay broke because they don't believe they're allowed to win. They don't believe they deserve freedom, joy, wealth, peace. So they sabotage themselves every time they get close. The thermostat of their mind is set to struggle, so when life gets good, they find a way to destroy it. Because it doesn't match their inner world, you cannot outperform your identity. You cannot earn beyond your expectations. You cannot receive what you don't believe is yours to have. And this is not about arrogance. This is about alignment. You must decide, once and for all, that you are done living beneath your calling. That you are done apologizing for wanting more. That you are done surviving. You are here to lead. You are here to expand. You are here to build. And if the world has convinced you otherwise, you owe it to yourself to wake up. So now we arrive at the moment of truth, not in theory, not in abstraction, but right here, right now, where your life is either going to pivot or repeat. Because at the end of the day, you have two choices. You can stay broke, broke in money, broke in spirit, broke in courage. You can keep waiting for a sign, keep blaming your circumstances, keep drowning in distractions. You can keep obeying the small voice in your head that says, play it safe. Be realistic. Don't risk anything. This is good enough. Or you can rebel. You can rebel against the fear that's been handed to you like inheritance. You can burn the script written by people who never lived a life worth imitating. You can snap the chain. You can end the cycle. You can declare, out loud, with fire in your chest, this ends with me. Because most people never do. Most people will stay broke. Not because the world conspired against them, but because they conspired against themselves, silently, daily, one missed decision at a time, one avoided risk at a time, one ignored dream at a time. But you are not most people. You are the anomaly, the outsider, the black sheep, the misfit who looks at average and feels nothing but rage. Not envy, not comfort, rage. Because you know what's inside you is not meant to die buried. You were not put here to balance budgets and pay bills. You were not designed to punch clocks and shrink your soul. You were created to carve new paths, to alter history, to build something eternal. And yes, it will be hard. Yes, people will doubt you. Yes, you will lose friends. You will face rejection, criticism, isolation. But so did every soul who ever did anything worth remembering. You want ease? Stay broke. You want legacy? Prepare for war. Because wealth, real wealth, the kind that echoes through generations, that rewrites family names, that redefines who you are and what's possible for everyone who comes after you. That kind of wealth is reserved for those with unbreakable will, not perfect people, decided people. People who take responsibility for everything. People who own their story, the darkness, the failure, the trauma, and still rise. People who wake up every day and say, I may not be there yet, but I am becoming. And they keep becoming, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because they know the truth. Your life is not defined by what you were born into. It is defined by what you refuse to die in. You were born with a spark. That spark is still in you right now, even if it's buried under years of doubt, debt, regret, and fear. But if you light it, if you dare to light it again, it will burn every limitation that's ever tried to define you. And when it does, you will rise, not just in money, but in mind, in spirit, in identity. You will no longer just make money. You will embody abundance. You will walk into rooms different, speak different, think different, not because of what's in your bank account, but because of what's in your belief system. So let the world sleep. Let the crowd laugh. Let the skeptics scoff. They'll still be broke when you're free. Because the truth is simple. This world belongs to the bold, to those who walk straight into fear and refuse to bow, to those who build when no one believes, to those who rise again and again and again. So ask yourself right now, am I done being broke? Am I done living small? Am I done surviving? Because if the answer is yes, then let this be the day your soul remembers who you are. Let this be the day you take the pen back from fate and start writing your own name in history. No more delay, no more doubt, no more permission. This is your turning point. This is your decision. And it's simple. Stay broke or get up and build something that cannot be broken.